Hello. Did we make it?
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, perfect. Well, I want to welcome you to Melt It. How's everyone doing?
It's going great. How are you today?
You know what? No complaints in the midst of it all, rock and roll. I love your spirit, your music, your glamness.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I mean, I think it's an understatement that we really need more of it. And the Midnight Devils provide that, which I am excited. I loved listening to your new album, and you've been touring. So I just want to talk a little bit just about what's been going on. Let's talk about before quarantine when you were having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We had got invited to be a part of be on the Quireboys tour on their U.S. tour. So they invited us to come out. We were originally scheduled to just do 10 shows with them, and they called us about a week before the tour launched, and they're like, "We need you guys in Salt Lake City in 2 days. Can you make it? You got the whole tour." And I
Oh,
called Sniper here, and he's like, "Well, the bus is already packed. Let's go." And so we basically drove from Omaha to Salt Lake City, joined the tour, and did 2 weeks with them before the virus shut everything down.
wow. I love the fact that you were on stage screaming about your Winnebago, imploring the crowd to have a good time, which is important nowadays. We need that more than ever. So, with that, you did the tour, that shut down. Are you guys almost done your second album?
Yes, we are. We are scheduled to go to in about a month. We're going to go to Chicago to do the next record, the sophomore release.
Awesome. And Sam, how did you guys all meet? And how long have you been in existence with the Midnight Devils?
The Midnight Devils has been around since 2017.
17, yeah.
2017. So the first record came out in 2018, and Sniper and I had played in an 80s hair metal, like a tribute band, for I think 5 years prior. So we had a good history of working together. We just decided that we wanted to keep the show going, but do the show on our own terms and be
Right.
the own boss and really push it in the direction we wanted to go. So we were like, well, let's start the Midnight Devils and we started as a two-piece acoustic act, just playing small town bars, and it was cool. But eventually, we're like, we gotta make this electric, put this on the road, which is kind of where we found Jimmy. Is that we were on a tour, and our drummer at the time walked off the stage.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about. What a thing, a feeling that you've worked so hard with somebody. And this isn't uncommon, but it's happened to me, it's happened to other bands. But it happened to you right when you were going to do something magical, correct? What
Yep.
was going through your mind at the time besides WTF?
I basically wanted to beat him to death.
Yes.
Uh, he literally walked out. We did a show in Kansas City at the Riot Room, and it was a multi-band deal. And he just like left off the stage, and we don't know what happened to him. We thought he hooked up with a girl, but his drums are still up there. And I think I was cussing, saying, "Son of a bitch, I'm loading them fucking drums again." And we couldn't find him, and we went to the green room, and his suitcase was gone. And the only valuable part of his drum set was his kick pedals. He had these double special speed double pedals, and those were gone. And the rest of the stuff was there. And we had to be in, I think, Fort Smith, Arkansas the next night and to do a show. And we couldn't find him. He didn't have a phone. We didn't know how to get in touch with him. It was a pretty devastating feeling. I mean, me and Sam were just like, "Wow, what are we gonna do?" So we loaded his shit up and started calling drummers we knew, that could salvage what we had going on, because we had Rocklahoma in like 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 days after that. So it was a huge gut wrenching feeling for sure.
It's also a testimony to you two being together for years and the credibility that you have to be able to grab, it's Jimmy, correct? Your drummer now? To grab somebody to help you out like that. And
It, it was cool on his part because we hadn't played with Jimmy. We hadn't talked to him. And we called him up, and he goes, "I can do the rest of the tour. I just need a ride from Chicago to meet you guys, and I'll learn all the songs in the bus on my headphones, and we're going to go. We don't have rehearsals. He's like, no problem. I'll make it happen. And he played in front of 20,000 people.
And that was sweet of you to drive and get him. Honestly, I mean, this is something you're passionate about because, you know, looking at your website, it's great. The glamour, the fun of your videos. And that's all the messages are, you know. All your songs are that way. And we're here to have a good time. But the real fact is, in life, you face different things like this, and you overcame that. And that's something I was really going to ask you, because it's about our hopes and dreams.
Exactly.
And yet and still you made it happen. And Rocklahoma, I had Liliac on my show last year. They were supposed to headline. Ace Frehley was going to be there. Then it was canceled. Did you guys do the year before?
Yes. Yeah, we did. We played right after Ace Frehley and Visto Blanco on that stage. And it was really cool. I mean, like, you're like, we're playing on the same stage as our hero.
Yes.
Incredible.
I grew up loving this guy. Still do.
Yeah.
You know, and so, it was, you know, like a dream come true. And it was a great show, great crowd. It was a great night. We were literally the last band to play at Rocklahoma in that year, because people were, what was the headliner that night? They were,
I can't even remember.
I can't remember either.
There were, yeah, I can't remember. I bought their digital download. No, I'm just kidding.
But it was cool because it was like the band that played, the big headlining band on the national stage was like Disturbed or Korn or something very
right
out there, and we were the last band, and they're actually kind of flying that glam rock flag of what Rocklahoma started out, the reason it was there, and the reason that people still come year after year. We gotta, you know, give them that kind of glam rock party that they wanted.
Yeah, that we desperately love. I mean, it's so great. Just even myself, my band, you know, we played a couple St. Patrick's Day parades in Boston, and thank God everybody was drunk. But to be able to play in front of 100,000 people, it's a thrill of a lifetime. And, you know, not to get too much into it, why do you think the drummer disappeared?
Well, I'm going to be like truthfully and honest. He had an issue with some substances.
Yes.
He went on a binge, and he ran out. He ran out of meth, and we didn't know he was doing it.
Right.
He had a iPod that if he got Wi-Fi, he could contact his girlfriend via Facebook or Messenger, and she was about an hour away, and she drove down and picked him up, and they swooped out of there and went on like a week, probably 5-day binge, and then he called me up wanting his drums, you know.
Yeah, I bought them on eBay, so thank you. No, I mean, and thank you for your honesty, because it's not uncommon. A lot of this stuff is like marriages with people you don't want to sleep with. You know, it's just really, you have to be together, and especially where you are at national touring. But it was great that it happened, and you have a new drummer. And then what about, let's see, coming up April 3rd, Wolfest, is that still on?
As of right now, that is still on. That is kind of when we were planning on making our first debut back since the shutdown. And I believe it'll be like a live stream event as well.
Awesome. And who will be joining you there?
It is the singer of Steelheart, Hurricane Alice, and then there's 3 or 4 other Denver bands.
Awesome. Yeah, it's just been really tough for everybody. I mean, I thank God for stoicism. I haven't had alcohol in 10 years, but I didn't expect a pandemic. You know what I mean? It's like you guys are having a blast, and then it's like, no, you're not. So you, with your second album, have you guys been in Chicago getting it together? How close are we to dropping it? Do you have a title yet?
We spent the last part of 2020 recording demos in Omaha. So we have about 10 songs, I'd say.
10 or 11 finished, completed songs. And they're literally, all we have to do is do the final, you know, what the permanent
recording
of it, and we're there. Basically, it's going to be mixed down and engineered and produced by um, Chip's Enough. Sorry, drawing a blank. I couldn't think for a second there.
It's totally loud.
Yeah, he's a character, and so hopefully, Van Halen recorded their albums in like 3 and 4 days. Hopefully, we can do it. I keep my fingers crossed. Hopefully, I'm going to.
Well, Sniper, I'm just wondering, with songs like 2 Miles Down, Absence of Light, Baptized by the Radio, Memphis Mile, are you taking a time machine and going back in time to grab these tasty licks? Like, where are they coming from?
Wow. Yeah, thanks for the compliment. I appreciate that. Actually, you know what? It's funny that you can tell, like, me and Sam, our best work is when we collaborate, I feel like. He's written songs by himself. I've written songs by myself where I go, we present, say, this is how it goes. And it just doesn't have the magic of Sam's background and my background mixed together. So sometimes, like 2 Miles Down, I was in this drop G mode. I'm like, this is so fucking heavy. I love it.
Yeah.
And Sam, I recorded it into an iPhone for him, and he came back like a week later, and he had the lyrics, and I'm like, I love it. I fucking love it. And I think it's our backgrounds that makes the chemistry work, because he had like a real punk background and like he likes weirder stuff than I like. Well, what I consider weird, like, he's more off the deep end than I am. I'm more traditional, like Van Halen, Motley Crue, Kiss, stuff like that. And he has like that glam and that punk thing going. And so sometimes when we meet, it's I don't know. I can't explain it. Just something happens, and I'd say of all the times I've written with other people, it just doesn't work like it does with Sam, if that makes sense. I don't want to sound too cheesy or corny, but
No, it's magic with an X. It just is. You guys have been together for years, and you get to know each other, and it just blends. And that's awesome. I mean, that's something great. You got another album all ready to go.
So you spend so much time with the two guys in your band. It's like we fight, but at the end of the day, we're still in a bus with each other for 2.5 weeks straight, and you don't see very many people. You don't do very much stuff, and the fact that we get along so well, and that's a testament to just how driven these guys are.
Right. So, what would you say when you think about it? Played the Viper Room, Rocklahoma. You played at M3, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So you've done all these things. How do you both, like, as far as success, are you enjoying the journey? Because I talk to different stars like yourself that have been on tour forever, European tours. And if you look at a guy like Rudy Sarzo, who had 5 multi-platinum albums, what is happiness? Are you looking at the next thing, or are you enjoying your time now?
Me personally, I'm always not resting on where I've been. I mean, that's good, but I want to go to that next level. I want to take us and push us and take this as far as we can. The vision's there, and I really feel, especially with this band, it's an unlimited vision. We can really do what we want, and there's a calling for our style of music. So I'm not going to rest on anything that we do, any accomplishment. I'm like, yes, I almost feel like we made it through. We made it through this. What's the next giant
that's how I
hurdle that we got to get over?
I think we both are very driven. All three of us. Jimmy's very driven, and we're all driven in our way. But there are times when we're like last year, or is it 2 years ago? We were in Memphis, and I go, "Fuck it, we're going to Graceland, bro."
Yes.
And this is we don't get time to do much, and I'll put it on my credit card. I don't fucking care. Let's go through Graceland. And Jimmy's like, "Don't want to go. I'll sit in the bus and smoke cigarettes." I'm like, "Okay." But me and Sam went through, and we're both giant Elvis fans, and so we did stop to smell the roses there and say, we don't get to do a lot.
Yeah.
But when we do it, we try to make it like. What was one time I did something you guys didn't want? We were in Louisville, Kentucky, and I wanted to go see the baseball bat factory for whatever reason.
Right.
$50, 25 minutes. Some guys drank coffee in the bus while I ran through and got a tour. Just something weird that I gotta stop and enjoy something that we've done or someplace we may not get again for a while, you know.
Yeah.
So while we are very driven, I feel like we do take moments every now and then to just stop and say, you know what, let's take an hour and fucking relax for a minute and fucking forget about the band and look at Elvis, you know, or baseball bats or whatever, you know.
Or I went to the Kentucky Derby with the police, and they're crazier than my criminal friends. And I had 14 mint juleps, and with my hair, I turned water into wine. So, no, that's great. I mean, that is awesome. You'll never forget that stuff, and it's good that you have that perspective, because a lot of people are just missing out on now. So I think it's great that you're doing that stuff, and it's good that you're all on the same page. But tell me also, with you have this show coming up, first time out, and then are you going to be touring the rest of the year?
That's the plan, and I think we're still a lot like everybody else where we don't know. And the closer it gets, like we're planning this tour in April, beginning of April, but now we're about a month out, and I still don't see shows happening like that. I mean, so we're like, okay, well, let's plan for the summer. Let's focus on this record and put this record out before. That's like the primary thing, is before we get too crazy with touring and going on the road, we really want to knock this record out. And kind of talking to you, this is like a big exclusive. We just signed with with Pavement Entertainment, and they're going to be helping us put this record out and helping pushing our touring a little bit harder.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
Just today.
Nice.
Yeah. So it hasn't even been released.
Sweet. That is so good. And then with that said, that's the whole thing, because it's like different bands, like Vixen, for example, they're opening up in April in Vegas because the state allows them to.
Right.
So it just depends from state to state, what's happening, and, everybody getting the vaccine and getting things sorted out. But like you said, the album is first, because what else are you going to do?
Yeah, the album is first, and that's really like what you tour in support of. We just don't want to go out and tour to tour. I mean, we do want to do that, but we're 2 years in on the last record, so we got to really bring this one to everybody's watching now. Everybody's watching.
Absolutely. And with Pink Halo, that came out. As far as the video, who created that video?
That was all Sam. That was his creative brainchild.
We actually had a discussion in the bus. So we're driving somewhere on the road. I don't know. We were talking about putting this video together, and Jimmy's like, well, he wanted this idea of him rappelling out of a chick's window off the side of the building. I'm like, that's a brilliant idea. We couldn't figure out how to make it happen. And then he brought up, we can make it like a drug deal gone bad.
Well, this is the other thing. Okay, I have a song that alludes to cocaine. Your songs are like it's snowing inside, kilos are being thrown at each other, Pablo Escobar shoots out. It's like you guys are, that's, in your face. It was awesome.
They were like, let's not make the actual drugs, let's make them glitter. That's the joke.
Yeah.
We had this girl make kilos of glitter, basically glitter cocaine.
Yes.
That we cut up and used, and we still have them. They were like stage props. She made them. They look great, and we were driving around with kilos of glitter in the back of our van forever.
Hi, Dad. Freeze. I'm like, okay. No, that was amazing. So with that said, with the new album, like, how long does it take to shoot a video then?
2 or 3 days. It's a build-up, but the writing process takes a little bit longer, getting everything squared away to do it. So you write the script and find the director and then find the location, and then it's really only 2 days of shooting.
2 days, if...
Yeah, 2 long days.
Very long.
It's like photo shoots, like you get all dressed up, but you don't get the payoff of playing in front of anybody.
Right.
You hear the song about 50 times in a row, and you're like, oh, tired of that.
Exactly. Who wrote this song? Who created the riffs? You just start pointing at each other.
Yeah, we just kind of... Actually, the best part was we did the live sequence in a bar, and then everything else was kind of done outdoors, or I mean on a couple places.
We did shot some at a strip club that I work at, and it was cool. So there was a good collaboration. Like Sniper and I both wrote the song together, and that was another one of those where it was like I had the idea, he goes, cool, I got another idea to add to that, and it was a good collaboration. And then it was just getting everything lined up. I thought it's a song about anybody. It could be about anybody. That's the cool thing.
No, absolutely, and that's your art, and people identify. I mean, in talking to some people, if you say the wrong thing, like the Midnight Devils, oh, they're Satanists. I don't know what you are. I'm a Satanist. But
we were playing a show in a small town, not a small town, but a medium-sized town in Nebraska called Here Nebraska. And in the paper, like the next week, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Some old person said, how did they say it?
It was like the Dear Annie section. Like they're like, the Satanists are coming to town to worship devil, and they're fruity tutus or something.
We were complaining that we took over the town square and did a big show. There's like 5,000 people there, and they loved it. To get us up for like 20 old people in lawn chairs that thought we were like reborn or like Satanists, and we're trying to take their souls from them.
Well, I think a lot of that, again, is perspective. This is your art. It may mean something completely different. I mean, there's been lawsuits in the 80s and 90s. Oh, you caused this person to do that. No, this is my art. Mm-hmm. And that's just it. And you're free to express yourself. And a lot of it is, too, my dad's like, cut your hair. And I'm like, where's my allowance? And he's like, you have the right to remain silent. The point is that when I have children, they'll probably be state troopers. It skips a generation, but you guys are really, expressing what you want to express. And it's just too bad that rock and roll gets a bad rap in that way. They're just so afraid of, even watching it.
It's cool because it reminded me of what say Kiss went through or Alice Cooper, and I was like, oh, they're doing it. This is awesome. They're gonna start boycotting our shows and stand outside preaching. Like, this is perfect.
I mean, Gene Simmons used to quote scripture back to them.
Yep.
So it turns into a real back and forth. But as somebody said, any sort of publicity is good publicity. Mm-hmm. But I just love, where did you come up sort of with the concept, with the makeup, etc.?
It was, since Sniper and I had been in the 80s hair metal band, we had kind of been doing it when pushing our boundaries a little bit farther and farther to what the boss of that band would allow.
Right.
He would only allow us to go so far before we were overshadowing him. Yeah.
Right.
With the Devils, we're like, we're going to go the complete opposite and be like, do whatever you want. Essentially, do whatever you want. Bringing Jimmy in, he really pushed us to say, like, hey, we're just not going to stop here. We're going to be like this hyper glam, super annoying, just like the fruitiest band that you can think of, but we're going to still play rock and roll music and be dirty and loud and dangerous. And that's really, like, it kind of opened our eyes, and it was like that light moment where you're like, this is our band. We can do whatever the hell we want to do.
Yeah.
As wild as you want to get, that's cool. Do it.
Yeah, very, very few no's come between us. Like, and the other bands we've been in, there's a lot of dad moments where no, we can't do that, you can't do that. And this band, we very rarely say that. In fact, I don't believe we've ever said it. We never say, no, you can't do that. We're like, whatever. We just like, whatever it takes.
No, absolutely. If, again, it's the concept of, they're saying fruity, this and that. No, your music is killer rock and roll. Mm-hmm. Like, just the licks. I swear, Sniper, I know you have a time machine, bro. You've been going places and just really, wrapping it up really tight. And, like you say, if you want to open some Fruity Pebbles and, throw it into the crowd, you can.
Exactly, and you wouldn't believe, like, people love it, and that's the cool thing, is that we would do. I mean, we would do it if people didn't love it, because that's just who we are. But nobody else, and I'm saying this, like, I was thinking about this earlier. Nobody else has the balls to go out there wearing lipstick and glitter and makeup, and that's a weird thing in this day and age. Like, people say, it's like a statement, but we just do it because we love it, and the crowd loves it, and so the crowd gets into it. We bring in all these people that start dressing. They start dressing up. They start looking like incredible, and you're like, it's almost a movement. So we bring in whether it's gay people, straight people, drag queens, black, white. It doesn't matter. It
Right.
all falls under that same umbrella. We came to party. We came to have a good time, and we're gonna make this look fucking good.
And you do. And I think it's the freedom of expression. People want to have a good time.
Absolutely.
And
There's so much misery in the world right now with, you name it. The only escape we get is when we're up there for our 45, 90-minute set, whatever it is, and people get to just say, quit worrying about COVID, or quit worrying about politics, or their house payment, or rent, or whatever, and they get to sing along and have a good time. And Sam sweats all over them, or whatever. It's a really good time. And so, why we don't get political, we don't talk about any stuff. We just talk about having fun and clapping and getting into the rock show.
yeah, when Sam sweats, it's called a baptism.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, that's good.
That is.
We're going to just baptize the multitudes, if you will. And thinking of, when I look at the pictures of Jesus, he has some long hair. If you look down, there's a Gibson at his side. So people need more of this fun. That's all.
Absolutely. And that's really the thing. That's what's really brought this band, I think, to the forefront. Is we played shows with death metal bands and with all these super heavy bands or whatever. But at the end of the day, we come out there and play these songs, and it doesn't matter what kind of music you're in. It's fun, and people are there for the show, and you just hook them in, and you say, we're going along for this ride together as a collective, not a band in the audience. It's all together. We're going to make this hour and a half a party, and then we're going to party afterwards, and we're going to party all night long, and you're going to become part of this weird family.
I love it. And with the Japanese metal band Loudness, how did you get in touch with them?
It's funny. I just saw a friend post a show. He was doing a show with them in California. They announced this show before the tour was announced, and I was like, I better jump on this. So I contacted our booking agent. We were the first band to ask about it. So it was basically all kind of luck of the draw. I just happened to ask, and he's like, "Yep, we're looking for a support act." I'm like, "Cool, we'll take it."
Yeah, that's what happens. You get, it's not even, if you don't ask, you're not going to receive.
Yep.
You throw those intentions out into the universe. I'm sure even back along when you first started, you still have aspirations, and it's happening right before your eyes. And even with COVID, whatnot, you can do the live streams. I did them all summer, but I'm really excited for you guys to get on the road, second album out, and just get them.
Exactly. And we had talked, like, even if we don't land a massive tour, even if we don't do this, even if it's not going to stop us from going out and playing shows and doing what we love to do. If we have to pick a city and play house shows in the states that are open, that's the way that we're going to operate. It's really, it comes down to that. As simple as that. Was we like to play, we want to play.
That's it. And then as things open up, Europe's not out of the question either, or Asia, correct?
Yes. Yep.
That is something that, talking to my prior guests about, just, quick tour in Europe, quick tour here. And have you done many live streams? Have you found that profitable for you?
We haven't done any because it's too hard. We're in 3 different cities, so it's just hard getting us together. And I don't know about you, but I feel like it's difficult to do, and it's difficult to come off. you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, with the live streams. How do you think they went?
Well, absolutely. It's not the same. It's something.
Sure. It's something. That's right.
But there's nothing like the energy between the fans and yourself.
Yep.
And you're entertaining. You're not only entertainers, you're musicians. You could peel off all of that glam and get up there, and they'd be like, "Oh, there's the Beatles." You know what I mean? Like, your music is what is awesome, and taking that step further of being able to I like the silver lipstick myself. I actually wore this unicorn hat for you guys. It's just to express yourself, but the music is there. As far as again, the festivals, what was it like playing Viper Room?
It was it was a dream come true for us because being like a fan of the 80s metal that I am, the Sunset Strip was huge, and of course I wanted to play the Whiskey and all them places, and see where Van Halen started and all that, and Rat and Motley Crue and even Faster Pussycat and all them bands. So the Viper Room was huge for us. It was a great show, even though the soundman kind of dinged me a little bit with my fucking guitar. I was having problems with my guitar because he unplugged this one cable and it was buzzing, and I'm like, but otherwise it was still a pretty good show. It was different than I thought it would be, but it was still pretty epic. Playing the Sunset Strip, we all wanted to do it.
It was our first time in LA.
Yeah,
there was actually people there, which I didn't think there would be people there, and a bunch of the old guard like glam rock dudes came out to see the show.
Yeah, and
we went. The coolest thing was, because there's two good stories about this, is that
I know the one.
We're standing outside, they said, okay, you guys got 10 minutes to get on stage, load all your gear. And so we're standing outside, Sunset Strip, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, this is the biggest show of our career. Jimmy's outside eating a pot cookie, like a weed cookie.
Yeah, like these really potent weed cookies that someone gave him.
I'm like, what are you doing, dude? He's like, I was hungry.
Yeah, I was hungry.
He's eating a weed frisbee.
Yeah,
exactly.
And he killed it. Like, he played perfectly. I couldn't even tell. So we get off stage, we sell merch, we do all this. But the cool thing is we all go down to the Rainbow afterwards in full makeup, full glam rock glory. We go to the Rainbow and party exactly like every cool rock and roll band did. And that was really the coolest part for me.
The coolest part, I'm going to tell you, Ron Jeremy was passed out in a chair there.
Oh, my God.
Talk to him? Should we talk to him? He was an owly, man, so we didn't talk to him. He was kind of a dick. We were like, better not. He's all hammered up on whatever he's on. Not good. Wednesday night. Yeah. I don't remember what it was. But he's a regular hangout there, I guess. And he's way shorter than I thought he'd be as well, which is weird.
Right. If you go to your local convenience store, how you playing? How are you paying? Oh, Ron, just slide them through the machine. But that must have been also to have those glam rockers come out to see you. Really is fulfilling. Just that people appreciate what you're doing. Your peers, if you will, appreciate it. And then your dreams are coming true. And that's why we keep dreaming and keep doing it and popping off over at Elvis's house when we're in the neighborhood. I mean, that's what it's all about.
And the Midnight Devil's name on the marquee,
that was huge for me.
You're just like, whoa, like that's big. It's Tuesday night, but still, man, that's not a lot of bands can say that.
No, that is a true Dear Diary moment. I don't care what day it is. With that said, do you guys feel like? Do you think it'll be? If this is Wolfest as a go in April, do you feel like everything else will open up and just flow as far as getting out there?
That's the hope. I mean, they say that there'll be that herd immunity will be taking place in April, so that they'll be able to open more stuff up because you'll have a natural immunity to the coronavirus. So hopefully they don't, regulate that you have to get a vaccine, or if you don't get a vaccine, you can't go or whatever. I'm hoping that like Texas and Florida and certain places are opening up already. There are certain states that are kind of cranking down, like California and New York, but hopefully by April and May, they'll be opened up and everything be kind of somewhat quasi back to normal, you know?
That's all we can hope. Have you guys done any NAMM shows?
No, we haven't as a band. I think each of us have gone.
We've been to the NAMM show individually, but we've
Right.
never done a show now.
I wonder what those are going to be like now.
Well, the one this year was they did a online thing. There was no actual show in Anaheim,
Right.
so I only know that because I'm a gear nerd and I'm always looking for gear, and so like Jackson and Charvel was sending me not that Instagram and Twitter, you know, like, oh, here's our new guitar, here's this, here's that, but I'm like, there's no show, so I don't know if there's going to be a winter one or not. I hope there is. Like I said, I hope it all kind of goes back to normal so we can start being like regular again, you know?
Yeah, really. Well, the other thing is, too, what about as far as, you know, have you ever thought of, like, the Monster of Rock cruises or Kiss cruises?
Oh, absolutely. That's like the biggest. That's one of our huge goals is to put the Devils out on sea. Yeah, international waters.
Right.
I can only imagine. Like, first of all, it looks incredibly cool. I heard they just canceled the Monsters of Rock cruise. They were going to do it on an island, and they canceled it. Yeah.
Did they cancel was it in Cozumel?
Yeah, it was on. They're going to do it on an island. It was Alice Cooper's.
Yeah. So they're not doing it?
No.
That sucks.
So that was a big hit, and Loudness was supposed to be on that too. So that's why we're like keeping our fingers crossed, is going, oh, I hope this all happens still.
Oh, wow.
Nobody knows really.
Yeah, that's something. How do you guys feel about, as far as, and you're in the middle of it, because when I talk to some of the older rockers, they're like, we really can't give advice about making money, etc. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about, you know, these different platforms, Spotify, YouTube? I have friends, they have millions of views. It's worth $125.
Yeah. I think Spotify is terrible, but useful at the same time.
It's terrible, but necessary at times.
Right.
I'm not going to mention the name, but I have a friend who's in a quasi-famous band that just posted a check of what he made. I think it was like $2.97, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Off Spotify, and I can't believe, you know, how you're supposed to make a living doing that. Definitely got to sell some T-shirts or some CDs or wristbands
or glitter cocaine.
You know,
but I can't tell you how many times we've been out, say, you know, hanging out at a bar. You don't have any CDs or anything on you, and some kid comes up to you and goes, "Hey, I love your guys' music. Are you on Spotify?"
Right.
Well, yeah, we are, of course. But like, you can listen to the record, but it doesn't even come close to buying the real thing, buying the album. It just, you kind of get, I feel it. It's easy, but it sucks at the same time.
It's a necessary evil, and that sucks. But it is.
And I think the same thing with YouTube, which is also great. But again, I have a buddy that's had over millions of views, and I'm like, well, are you buying that BMW spaceship yet?
Yeah.
He's like, bro, I can't even afford a 10-speed.
Yeah. Like, you don't make money off of a video, but you have to put one out.
Yeah.
You don't make a dime.
You spend money to make a video.
But you have to have a video.
That's another necessary evil. I mean, the thing with that is you can reach somebody in Siberia. That's the great news.
Right.
Not really making any money unless he buys something from you, you know?
Right. And there's nothing like product in hand.
Yeah, our fans have been very cool, and this is like a testament to our fans. They've been so cool over the whole virus break, where they every week I'm shipping out merch. They're buying merch. They're buying. We released a hoodie line, and they sold out 3 times already.
Oh, awesome!
They've been supportive of us because they know that it helps us get to where we need to go, and that's a really cool thing.
No, that's amazing. You know, merch is important. The money's really in touring, correct?
Absolutely. Yep. I was just telling Sniper that, like, we sold the biggest boost that we had in album sales was when we joined the Quireboys tour.
Yeah.
We sold the most records there.
Yeah, and we need these things to come through for sure. How do you feel about the meet and greets? You know, Taylor Swift won't charge, but other people charge between $600 and $3,000.
Well,
I think at this point in our career, I don't care. I love meeting people.
Right.
We're going to do it for free regardless.
yeah, we
Right.
charge for getting our picture taken or talk to them. In fact, we do everything for free, and I can understand why some of these guys charge because they're struggling. I love Kiss. It's probably like my all-time top 2 favorite band. I don't understand why people pay $1,500 to see Kiss in the meet and greet. I don't understand, but you got the money, you know.
Yeah, true.
Caviar, and some people can afford a can of tuna. Just so I don't know. I would never pay. I would never pay that kind of money to meet someone like that. I'd rather meet him as a peer,
Yeah.
or like at a show or something like that. Does that make sense? You know.
No, it does. And I've posed the question to other musicians, and they feel like if same sort of thing, if you can make that money, go ahead. People, they would never not stop and say hi. You know, meet you on the street. I'm not sure if Taylor Swift, she has a rule that, you know, if you're at one of her meet and greets, you can't talk to her ever again. And so,
If you're a fan and you got a bag of weed, you're on your couch for a week.
Maybe 2 weeks. I don't know.
well, I think the drummer took the weed frisbee. What are you doing before, you know, one of our rather large shows of our lives? Oh, just couldn't find the street vendor, so
Hungry.
I talked to a complete stranger. I think that makes the story magical. As far as, you know, your journey, and then we've talked about some of the pitfalls, etc. What would you tell younger musicians that are starting out or talking to your former selves 8 years ago as far as advice? What would you give them?
Same thing I've been saying since I started playing guitar. Be honest and true to yourself first. Don't, I mean, if you're honest, honesty comes through in music, and dishonesty comes through music as well.
Yes.
When you see a guy that at a Ramada Inn doing his thing, and it's purely a Vegas act, and it's all show, and you see if you've ever seen a band like 5 or 6 times, it's the same shtick between each song and same
Right.
rap between each song. It's just a job to him. He doesn't give 2 shits about anything. He doesn't enjoy the music anymore. He's just doing it for a paycheck. At least honestly, we make mistakes, sure, and we screw up, and sometimes I don't play the right note, or sometimes Sam doesn't say the right thing, but at least it's honest. And that's what I would say. Be honest and true to yourself, and then that way you can't fail. Even if financially, you measure success in a very many ways, but you got to live it. You got to look in the mirror. That's the biggest thing for me. I try to be true to myself and true to the guys in the band. I want a guitar solo in every part of the song. They're like, no, we need to do chorus there. I'm like, okay, all right. What's better for the song? Or what's better for me? So we got to think of the song first. So, be honest. And I can say it. Sam, what do you think?
Oh, mine is that nobody's going to give you anything for free. Nobody's going to go out of their way to give you anything. So you have to go out there and work for whatever it is that you want. So if you're starting off, you want to be a guitar player, you got to work at it, man. And nobody's going to come up and give you that gold record. Nobody's going to give you the tour. It's not going to happen. So go out there and get it yourself. And you're going to get 1,000 no's along the way. But you're going to get one yes, and that's the yes that counts.
Oh, also, my other part 2 of mine is practice a lot.
Well, you guys probably have your 70 million hours in, let alone the 10,000 that you need. But that's a fact. Practice.
I don't know. We're a work in progress.
No, I agree. And I think going back to your memory museum, like you've done this stuff because your passion and your love for it. And you can look back at these things and say, excuse my German, but what the fuck? This has been great. And it's just going to continue. And I wrote a song, Famous in My Own Mind. Whether it's in front of 100,000 people or 2, the light still shines. That's the whole thing. And you're doing it, and it's genuine, and it's glam, and it's rock, and it's amazing. And I think with that said, that's really an important message from you two to share to others, because you've been there, and yet you're climbing the mountain. And
yeah, we're in a really exciting position right now, and I've never been in this position with any other band. And I think that's really cool to have all that excitement, that heat, all of the action that you've been working for. Like we're getting there, but we're just doing it on our own terms, and that's the coolest thing. You're exactly right on the honesty part. It's all on our own terms.
No, absolutely, and that's the whole thing, is that you're doing it. And for me, I started music later in life. I picked up the bass because it only had 4 strings.
Yeah.
Then you're like, are you kidding me? And if you don't ask, just like that thing popped up, it's like kismet. Oh, they need somebody. So Sam, you reached out, and you got the yes.
Yep.
So, that's really awesome.
For us, we turned down from 100 tours before that. Nope. You guys, nope. Not a good match. Don't have enough money. Too glam. Everything. We've heard it all. And it's the same with labels. I was telling somebody that the other day. We've been turned down from so many labels now that I think it's almost a point of pride when they go, "You guys are too wild. You guys are too outrageous. We're not interested." I go, "That's cool."
No, you're doing the right thing at that point, I feel. Because what are they not looking for in what you bring? Which is great music and fun. And it's glamorous. And it's a party. Mm-hmm. So that is a point of pride. Have you ever asked, the second, have you guys had your heads examined, record label? What's going on?
No, I've wanted to.
Right.
What I've wanted to do is send labels what was it? Just send them a copy of our new record. Thanks for passing on us.
Right.
I appreciate that. Here's our new record. Check it out. That's what I wanted to do. And especially it's those labels that you wanted, and that you see all your friends getting signed to, and you're like, well, what's wrong with us? Well, we're just a little outrageous and a little too wild. But I still think it'd be a good fuck you. Check out this record. God bless.
It's the God bless. God bless.
Hail you, hail me, hail Sniper. Hail Sam, hail Satan. No, absolutely. And I think that's the whole point, is that, it fuels your fire. Mm-hmm. How quickly did you do the first album?
It was recorded over a week or two, probably I would say 6 days. We recorded it in 6 days. But and they always say this, is that we had years to come up with the songs for that record. So that was we had been working on those songs. We played a lot of those songs already. So
I'd say the reality was half of them we had been playing out. Half of them there's a couple we wrote literally in the studio then and there. But maybe 5 or 6 on the first record we had been playing out for a while, so we were super tight and got boom, 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 got them done. And then there was a couple we were like, oh crap, this is going to take more than we thought. We had ideas, and we put some rough trucks down and went for it. And then there was little touch-ups we had to do, but the main recording was probably done in 6 or 7 days.
But it was definitely a learning process where Sniper and I had never put out our own record. So we had to learn how to get the art done, how to get the mastering, and you just learn all these things and on the first record especially. So.
And how did you do that, Sam? How did you guys do that? Learn to do it?
You just we had known you just have to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go, this has to be done. Who do we got to find to do this? Who's gonna, like, we had an artist that made the album cover, and it was just absolute garbage. And I waited weeks and weeks, and the art was terrible.
Right.
And I do remember that. We cannot fucking use this.
You showed it to me, and I said, "What is this?"
Yeah. So I'd hire another guy to do it. And that's just it. You just learn from the mistakes that have been made in the past, and get it done. Make it happen. Take care of business.
So what about with now to your second album? Talk to me with what you've learned. Was it a lot easier doing the second?
So far, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, actually what we did is, it sounds strange, but since Jimmy lives in Chicago, Sam lives in Lincoln, and I live in Omaha. Me and Sam live about an hour-ish apart. Jimmy lives 8 hours away. We hired a session drummer to come in and write songs with us, basically. We had most of them down. Me and Sam had been recording the contents on an iPhone, and then we're using another iPhone to use it as a drum mix, like a drum track. And so we bring the drummer down and say, here's what we got, and give him like a real rudimentary idea of the song. And then we play it, and they say, wait, that second part, kind of calm it back down there, Neil Peart. You don't need to get quite that crazy. Kind of,
Yeah.
Fairly wants it. So it actually, it was like 6-8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just get together on a Saturday afternoon, because that's the only really time the drummer could come over, and we'd go over stuff, and then we say, okay, we're ready to record. And then we went to the studio and recorded them like over 2 days, and then sent the tracks to Jimmy to listen to. So I think this time we had to write actually all the songs. There was none in the can. We had to write everything. So me and Sam had been writing since the last album somewhat, but the writing process actually only started like in September of 2020. We had a few ideas and wrote 11 songs, 10 songs, and then had them recorded them in November, I think.
But the blueprint now has been, we did all the hard work on the last one. This one, we're like, okay, we know we need a producer. We know we need a studio. We know that we're going to need some backing. So we learn from all our mistakes to hopefully shave some time and some energy to make this like as streamlined as possible and make it as incredible as we can possibly make it.
Less stressful.
Yeah, less stressful.
More streamlined, yeah.
Yeah, then comes album 3 and 4. So that's
Album.
it.
Double live album.
Cobo Hall.
We need you guys at that intersection where Abbey Road is.
Yeah.
The three of you.
I've actually been there, man.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
I want to pick.
I got a picture of me walking across that street, the same thing as the Beatles. I'm such a retard. I was like, let's go to Abbey Road. There's these gates. You can't get in because there's someone recording at the time, and I wanted to go in there, and they wouldn't let me in.
So cool.
No, absolutely. I'm thinking of a cover with the three of you on it there. With a slight middle finger up to everybody else. Just my thought. Dripping in glam. I can't thank you enough for being on Melted, Sam and Sniper. I see great things happening for you. We hope this festival coming up in April happens. With that said, why don't you just give us a shout out where we can reach you?
We are available on all social media platforms. Our website is themidnightdevils.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we're very, very good and diligent about posting and responding to all comments. So if anybody's listening, drop us a comment, drop us a message, we'll respond back. We ship all of our own merchandise out. It's basically from my house to your house is how the merch thing works. There's no companies involved. The videos on YouTube, like I said, we're on Spotify, we're on Amazon, we're on Apple Music. It's anywhere that you can kind of find it.
Awesome. And as the tour progresses, I'd love to have you back on, and we'll get Jimmy on the line to scold him for his good times before big shows.
Oh, we'll do it. What I've been telling everybody is that we need to do like an interview from the road, backstage from the road. Like we're back at it. Everything's opened up.
We would love that.
Yep.
We would love to have you. Sam, I appreciate your time, Sniper. Keep up the good work. The tasty looks coming. the glam dripping and all of our love from Boston to you, and we can't wait to see you in the big lights.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, you guys have a great day.
I'll catch you later.
Bye-bye. And what a real treat, the Midnight Devils. They are awesome. Touring band out of the Midwest. Sam and Sniper, Jimmy will be on our next show when they're on the road, having a blast. Glam rock lives in the Midnight Devils. And they will be playing hopefully April 3rd at Wolfest. So check them out. Check them out online. And thank you for joining Melted. Frankie Melted Chapsticks Hollywood signing off, and everybody have a great day.
This podcast was produced in collaboration with the Boston Free Radio Podcast Network, part of bostonfreeradio.com and Somerville Media Center, Somerville's longest-running public access media center that enables a vibrant and diverse community to express its creativity, explain its ideas, share its cultures, and foster the individual right to freedom of speech. Learn more about Somerville Media Center at somervillemedia.org or check out some of the other amazing Boston Free Radio podcasts and radio shows at bostonfreeradio.com. Thanks for listening.